In a world of worries and wars, who said nuclear bunkers were only for millionaires? A new housing development in Alconbury aims to give about 6,500 people access to it, as well as schools, shops, parks, and spaces for businesses. But here's the really interesting thing. It's going to be built on a former airfield which housed, ironically, the same amount of people, 6,500. So, how many can it hold? Who knows? But once again, like I always say, Earth is amazing. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Focus. And oh yeah, it's Sunday. Happy Father's Day to all out there. And to all the mothers doing it alone, I'ma send an extra happy Mother's Day out there for you. Take care, stay tuned, and have a great day. Okay, so it's been a while and I've got a really large backlog, but what can I say? Life goes on. But in any case, a new housing development includes a nuclear bunker. Can you believe it? A new housing development will feature a disused Cold War nuclear bunker. Developers are currently turning a former airfield in Alconbury, Cambridgeshire, into a development with around 6,500 new homes, as well as schools, shops, parks, and spaces for businesses. According to the local Democracy Reporting Service, many of the old airfield hangars will be demolished, but some are due to remain. The nuclear bunker, also called the Magic Mountain, is now a Grade 2 listed building and is the responsibility of the master developers, Urban and Civic. The bunker was designed to withstand a blast or chemical attack and would have been able to operate on its own for a short period in the event of an incident. It was not designed, however, to be a place of sanctuary, but was a place to work to process intelligence data collected by the TR-1 reconnaissance aircraft at the time. Work on the bunker was completed in 1989, the same year the Berlin Wall came down, so was only in operational use for a short while. But some of the buildings are demolished. They will be photographed and recorded. The developers plan for the nuclear bunker to form part of a heritage area of the site. A number of hangars will also be kept to highlight the history of the airfield. Developers have not made a final decision on the bunker's role going forward, but are making sure it stays maintained. Like I said, Earth is amazing. Not just the people, not just the places, but in the world we're living in today, I'd definitely say that's amazing. And who knows, moving forward, it might just be standard, like a window, but who knows. Take care, have a great day, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Focus. Okay, thanks for sticking around for another thoughts and facts section. And I already disclosed one of the more interesting ones, which is the fact that this housing development is going to hold the same amount of people stationed at the airfield at the time, which was 6,500. But just another quick history lesson, if anything. The F-5 Reese lightning over the D-Day beaches, 6th of June 1944. There's a picture from a B-29 Super Fortress. On the 17th of October, the individual badges of the group squadrons were approved, and the following month, the 482nd was redesignated the 482nd Bombardment Group Heavy. The squadrons then began their preparation to convert the B-29 Super Fortress. The first B-29 to visit the United Kingdom arrived at Glayton on the 11th of March 1944. In mid-December, the USAF groups undertook operations in support of the Beagle Guard American GIs in the Ardennes, being counterattacked through the snow by a strong German force of armor and infantry. The Battle of the Bulge, or Blitzkrieg ohne Benzin, on the 24th of December, as weather conditions improved. The RAF and the USAF flew over 2,000 sorties against German targets to the rear of the Bulge. Germany's last offensive in the west was stalled and then repulsed. 2,000 sorties, that's over 2,000 flights were launched from this base. But like I said, it's actually quite interesting. But to the real kicker, whether or not the developers, Urban and Civic, decide to actually keep this as a, how did they say, a historical or heritage site would be interesting, to say the least. I mean, having children growing up in that community, seeing what it was like those many decades ago, it would be nice. I mean, it would be one way to ease them into the many grave dangers that are possible in our world, really and truly, that can befall us at the touch of a button through the choice of, at many times, just one man to each own's country. But let's get rid of the downer. Once again, thanks for sticking in. I've got a crazy backlog, like I said, and I've got many stories I'd like to talk to you about. And you know what? I'm going to get all into it. But right now, here's what I want to say. Imagine this, though. In Ukraine right now, Zelensky has already moved entire high schools underground. So I'm not sure exactly where it is, and I mean, really and truly, for war purposes, fog of war, it shouldn't really keenly be known to that many except for those who actually reside there. But the fact is, in Ukraine right now, there is the equivalent of an entire high school underneath the ground. The children's daily lives revolve around being within this bunker, be it nuclear or just reinforced. But I'm not saying this is going to be what life looks like moving forward into the future. But what I'm saying is, when I did read that article, it was simply the fact that they mentioned one thing. The fact that when the air sirens or the bomb sirens go off, even when missiles are firing, they no longer have to run for cover. They can simply sit at their desks and carry on working, carry on learning. Really and truly, I say, they are preserving our future. In Germany, I'm pretty sure I heard that they want to allocate old subways to either be makeshift bunkers for times of war or emergencies. And I think that also is, as far as I'm concerned, a pretty good idea. Now, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I don't mean everywhere should have nuclear bunkers, but everywhere should have a safe space. And I mean a completely safe space. In the world we're living in today, hurricanes, storms, snowstorms, it's getting really bad, even flooding. I mean, yes, a bunker underground kind of defeats the purpose if you think when it comes to flooding, but if it is sealed perfectly, I mean, flooding won't really be a problem. And obviously, water resides, so eventually you will be able to come out. But that's just a solution to a problem that doesn't even yet exist. What I'm saying is, in the world we're living in today, conflict is beginning to seem like a must, less than a, option. It seems like moving forward, we need to think about how we can safely preserve life. And I, once again, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. In the Caribbean, or in, let's say, America, Tornado Valley, many have what they call shelters, storm shelters, tornado shelters, even basements specially built, reinforced for this. And even in those cases, some of them falter. But even then, many of those cases, those people's lives are saved because of them. Now, in those situations, a lot of these shelters aren't community-based, they are individual. So this is people who take it upon themselves to secure themselves. And in most cases, unless you're a prepper, it would simply be, let's say, a father who wants to take care and make sure that his family are safe. So let's take it from that point of view, just a father protecting his family. He would think that he would want his space to be safe, like a king with his castle. True? So, where does that leave us? Moving forward, would it be a good idea to say, let's build every new housing development, not just, let's say, in England, say in America, block of flats, apartments, duplexes, surplexes, whatever you want to call it. Not a surplex. But you understand where I'm coming from. Are we approaching a time where having not a basement but a bunker built in is going to be part of the contract? Like I said, is it going to be the new normal, like a window? In Tornado Valley, Caribbean, hurricane storm systems are frequent. The wind is crazy, trees fly everywhere, and landslides are terrible. Rock slides can occur as well, but that's what is uncovered after the landslide. In situations like these, houses are often completely ripped apart, many of which are not built, sturdy enough. Many are built with concrete infrastructures on pillars, at least, let's say, 10, 15 feet up in some cases. I kid you not. And let's just say in those special situations, it might just be on a hill, but I'm talking about on a flat ground. Yes, I kid you not, it might be at least 15, or 20 feet up. And you'd have that entire ground floor just empty. Most people would use it for parking, hang up their washing, just plain storage, space for the kids to play. But the point is, that extra 10 feet gives them an advantage. If they live on low ground, it saves them from flooding. And I mean completely saves them. In, let's say, countries like America and the UK, when it floods really badly. I mean, forget America. In Brazil, was it? Brazil? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. The flooding hit an entirely new level. Let's just say if they were bunkers, hear me out, not in the ground. Well, yes, in the ground, but higher, in the hills, mountains. People would have been able to retreat into these safe spaces, especially now, considering such wide spaces were flooded. They could have been shelters to house at least hundreds of people, at least 1,000, let's say. What I'm saying is, I'm not thinking that we should be planning for the end of the world, but what I'm saying is, in many cases, we need to have contingency plans. We need to think ahead, not like a chess game and think 4 to 5, 6 moves ahead of what our opponent is thinking. In this case, we should be thinking our opponent is the Earth. I mean, Earth is amazing, like I always say, but it has many ways of teaching us a lesson and making us very, very humble. So instead of it, how can I say this, leaving us flat on our, I think we need to think ahead. Not just the rich and famous, not just housing developments, but I think governments on a whole should start reinvesting on a large scale into safe spaces, real shelters that can save people, not just in the case of one emergency to another, but in the case of all emergencies. It's kind of counterproductive to make a building just to protect you from one element and the other is, and you are completely at the other's mercy. It's counterintuitive. And I think we've come a long way. We're much smarter than that. So I ask a simple question. Considering the world we live in today, considering how dangerous many of our world leaders know it to be, why don't they do things like this more regularly and frequently? Take, for example, I came across a story. There is a basketball court or entire playground that is covered in, I kid you not, bulletproof glass. Would you like to know why? Because in the area/neighborhood where these children are growing up, many of them have been killed by gunfire, gang, shootouts. And as crazy as it sounds, an entire playground covered in bulletproof glass, I think that is amazing. I mean, it's about time. How long did it take you to come up with such a simple solution? Why wouldn't you have done it so long ago? How many children's lives would have been saved? And here's the kicker. This has been implemented nowhere else in the world as far as I'm concerned. Many countries like America, even the UK, let's say Florida, exactly. Many places, guns are rampant and people die from them all the time. Why wouldn't you do something as obvious as creating a safe space for someone to at least be able to run and hide in? Even in schools, mass shootouts in America are almost hitting epidemic levels. Why aren't all the school windows bulletproof? Why aren't all the doors reinforced? These are simple solutions that could save so many lives. Why? Because everyone keeps putting a number in front of it. Keep putting money in front of it, figures in front of it. Why? Because money is more important than people. I'll be honest, Elon Musk does a lot of crazy things, but like I say, I admire him for one thing, and one thing only. He saw a problem that everyone said can't be done simply because everyone put numbers in front of it. And you know what? He said, forget about the numbers, let's just focus on the problem, solve it. End of. And right now, did you hear? His Starship actually made a successful touchdown or water landing on that platform. So hey, I say, well done. And to the rest of the world, to simple solutions, instead of simply saying that it costs too much, I say, you know what? Forget about the numbers. If it's going to save a life, it needs to be done. But like I said, Earth is amazing. Not just the people, not just the places, but what we have done with it all. And as always, like I said, our history is pretty vast and we're making it pretty fast. So, in the grand scheme of it all, what's 16 minutes of your time? As always, Thank you very much for staying tuned. Thank you for your time and thank you for listening. And you know what? I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. Take care. Like I said, carpe diem. Let no one disturb your zen. Take care. For links to the articles, check out the episode description. If you want to leave a comment, check out the trailer description for the email address. For topics like these and more, check out future episodes. Like I said, the world is an amazing place. There's a lot going on, and sometimes we just need to take a moment to focus.